How have you been feeling the past few days?
Heavy.
Truck driver David Henry takes us to an intersection on a rural stretch of the Trans-Canada Highway just outside Winnipeg.
So you're going 100 kilometers an hour, and you got to make the turn onto here and do it without getting rear-ended by other vehicles.
These crossings, known as at-grade intersections, are so common on the highway across the prairies.
What do you think of intersections like this? You drive them all the time.
I don't like them. I don't think we should have any intersections like this on the Trans-Canada Highway. I think it should all be cloverleaf interchanges. But realistically, that's not going to happen.
David has driven through Carberry, now scarred by this horror countless times.
How did you feel when you found out that the crash happened at that particular intersection?
Oh, it makes sense. Like it's not a shock in that way, but to have so many people killed, that's horrible.
15 people, most of them seniors, killed on their way to a nearby casino. The bus they were traveling in and a semi-truck colliding at this at-grade intersection. Police say the truck had the right of way, but there are few other details about the crash.
Just standing here watching the traffic, it's so clear why this is such a difficult intersection to navigate. We've only been here for a few minutes and we've already seen a couple of near misses, including one where a tractor-trailer truck was trying to cross on the other side of the highway like that truck just did behind me, but it blocked part of these lanes, so another truck had to veer quickly around it.
The intersection has a history of tragedy. An elderly couple dead after a crash there in 2005. So many others injured over so many years. For Winnipeg musician Justin Van Dam, this latest crash dragged him back to the loss of his own grandparents. Percy and Noreen Shepherd, their lives taken in a collision at a similar intersection just east of the Carberry disaster 24 years ago.
My grandpa Percy, he was a former Anglican minister with a big booming voice and a great sense of humor, very cheeky. And my grandmother Noreen, she was a really kind woman, and the two of them just were so in love.
How do you feel that it is that same stretch of road and a similar set of circumstances?
When you see a trend of something negative happening, it's on policymakers to address it. And I think we've kind of normalized to an extent how dangerous it can be.
Local officials in Carberry have raised concerns about the intersection before. Calls are growing now for a redesign or traffic lights to improve safety. It's unclear if this crash will force any action.
We always review the situation, and we'll make sure that we do a study, and to make sure we do, making sure that if there's anything else we can improve in that intersection, we will definitely look at that.
We head to the Manitoba Professional Truck Driving Championships days after the crash. Some of the province's best drivers navigating complicated skills challenges. What do they think of the highways they drive on every day?
We have to be so much more on the ball than anybody on the road. Just because of our weight, our length, there's not much you can really do about all the intersections.
Dave Phillips has been a driver for 32 years.
Having lights and flashing lights and stuff like that, I mean, you're talking billions of dollars because you would have to do them at every single intersection that crosses the highway.
That reality means these intersections, the hazards that come along with them, are unlikely to change.
There's going to keep being fatalities. There's fatalities all around these highways. Nobody's really wanted to talk about it much.
David Henry says many in the driving community are now struggling. Their hearts broken for both drivers and the lives lost in Carberry.
It doesn't matter who's at fault. It doesn't matter. It's going to be something they have to deal with for the rest of their life. It's really, really tough.
Ellen Morrow, CBC News, near Winnipeg.